This is Paul and Andy's podcast. I haven't said that for about 3 months.
I know, where have you been?
Well, I know where I've been. Where have you been?
Well, I've been waiting for you.
No, it's just
I
not true,
have.
It's not true. Basically, we, dear listener, we have been, because there's probably only one left now, and that's Lee in Australia, who's hanging on there. We've been busy, haven't we? We've been very busy, and the premise of the podcast is that we do it as and when. We're not a slave to it. We don't have advertisers, and we don't have sponsors, and we do care whether we do it or not, but we do it for us, and there seems to be, we've garnered an audience. It's a nice name, isn't it? Garnered. Nice
Garnered.
Word. We've garnered an audience.
Good word, good word. And
So-
we're sitting outside today
Yeah.
in your lovely garden.
Thank you.
The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and the butterflies are fluttering around the garden, and it is just idyllic.
Well, you said you've spotted a lot more butterflies this year,
Yeah.
and I think I have too. Peacocks and red admirals, I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen loads of butterflies this year. I can't remember a year in recent memory when I've seen so many. And it must be something to do with the good weather, maybe an improvement in the environment. I've no idea. But yeah, it's cracking, isn't it? And, you know, we're in the middle of a heat wave. I think our third one. The Met Office haven't started naming the heat waves yet, but it's just a matter of blooming time. They name everything else. And
You do not approve of that, then?
no, I don't. It's just childish and
Yeah.
stupid.
For those of you who haven't joined us before, the word curmudgeon was invented for Andy Burnham.
Well, you know, I remember back in my youth, when it was a nice day, they used to say on the weather, oh, it's a lovely day tomorrow, enjoy the sunshine. And now they say, it's a lovely day tomorrow, we're all going to die. So, you know...
I don't think they say that.
Well, you know, but that's the inference. Oh, global warming, or we can expect more summers like this. They just talk absolute nonsense. The weather's nice, just enjoy it. But I don't know about you, Paul, but I've noticed that this good weather has brought out a lot of
Wasps.
the professional outdoor idiots. You know, the ones with caravans and tents who like to live outside but spend most of the year not doing just that because of the weather. They're all coming out of the woodwork now, and I've seen something which I'm kind of concerned about, and you might be able to help me on this, because I think you're one of the people who understands camping, and I don't really. And I've seen a lot of cars with what they call tent boxes on top of their cars. What's all that about? Is that actually a tent?
You're now igniting my fuse, aren't you?
No.
Because, well, you are. You don't know yet,
Oh, right,
but
okay,
you have
okay,
ignited my fuse.
okay.
Because I have noticed that these tent boxes
Yeah.
have appeared.
What
and
are
they're-
they?
They're tents that go on the roof.
What do you do? Sleep on the roof?
You sleep on the roof of your car, and then
You're
when,
joking.
like us, you want to go for a wee 3 times in the night, you fall down the rungs of the ladder,
That's just dangerous.
break your neck, wee yourself, and then climb back up into the tent.
But where's the fun in sleeping on top of your car?
Don't ask me. I have a confession to make. Because I spotted that this is the latest craze.
Yeah.
Obviously, before that, there was dry robes, especially camo,
Yeah.
camouflage dry robes.
Yeah.
And before that, there was Land Rover 110s. You had to get a Land Rover Defender. That
Yeah.
was de rigueur. And before that, there was you must have a VW camper, a T4, or T5.
Yeah.
That it's just a long line of somebody deciding that this is the thing to do, that we can go camping at the drop of a hat because we've got it on our tent box. And I have to say, there's several £1,000s. I
What,
can't
for
remember.
sleeping on top of your car?
I don't know how much they are, but tent box as a brand,
Yeah.
several £1,000s. And I got into a lot of trouble with my nearest and dearest, Helen, because I used a very pejorative word. I can't help it when I see him. Oh, tent box wanker, tent box wanker.
Oh, I
Because-
do the same thing.
So I've tried to sort of clean it up a bit, and I just call them TBWs. Oh, look, another TBW.
TVWs, yeah.
And yes, I have noticed that, and I cannot think of a less convenient way of
No.
camping. I went camping recently. About 3 weeks ago, I went to a men's festival in a field. This is how it was branded. In a field outside Swindon, and it was an ex-polo field, beautiful field to
Yeah.
camp on. 2 big circus tents, and a whole load of men from all around the country gathered together to play all kinds of manly type games like axe throwing and stuff like that. But it was a Christian festival, so it was a wonderful. It was a great time, and we were camping in 34 degrees. Now, once you're adjusted to it and you've got plenty of water to keep hydrated, then you're fine. It's not an issue. The problem is in this country that we're just not used to the extremes. So when we get a cold snap or a beast from the east or a deluge of rain, we get these extremes and we just go.
Well, and everything grinds to a halt as well.
So the heat thing is not an issue, is it? Because it's hot today. It's 26 degrees, I think.
Well, it's nice.
But we're under a shade of an umbrella.
Yeah.
We've got the wasp traps to keep us company, which I have to say have been incredibly successful. I only put these out later. Basically a jam jar with something sweet with a greaseproof paper over the top with a little hole in it and some jam spread around. And the wasps have committed hara-kiri.
You're listening to Paul and Andy's podcast, the first for quite a while actually, and it's good to be back with you. And we were just talking about tent boxes and TBWs, and do you know what it says to me every time I see one, Paul?
What?
All it says to me is, that's a man's thing. A man has put that on the car because he's kind of insecure in his relationship with his wife, because he knows that he'll always have somewhere to sleep.
Well, that's true. On the drive in a tent box.
Yeah, basically.
If you own a tent box, we'd love to hear from you. I know there was at least 2 of our listeners were contemplating getting one.
Really?
So I hope Alex and Russ. Oops, I named you there. Perhaps you could drop us a line in between building your new house. Now, what was I going to say to you? Oh yeah, camouflage things. Very camouflage. Shorts and those wraps I was talking about, those dry robe things, which basically, we've talked about these before, basically we had them in the 60s and 70s. It was a towel with a hole cut in the middle, and you just had this sort of thing that you got changed so you didn't display your nadgers to the whole world.
Yes.
So, do girls have nadgers? I suppose they don't really do.
Well, they do, but they're just inside.
They're not called nadgers,
No.
So, a guy got on my ferry. Guess who I had in the back of my ferry the other day?
Yeah.
So, a guy got on my ferry, and I'd run out of things to say, so I say ludicrous things like, "Oh, camouflage shorts. I looked everywhere for those, but I couldn't find any."
I bet they've not heard that before.
He just looked at me as if to say, "I don't know what you're talking about." No, he didn't actually look, but he said,
Really?
"Oh no, I got them in Matalan.
TK Maxx.
I went to TK Maxx. Yeah, you'll find them there." And his wife went, "Oh, he's joking.
Yeah.
You can't see him." So there we are. So I've been plying my trade on the ferry, which has been fantastic in this weather because the breeze is just beautiful and taking people to have fun on the beach. These poor families get on. And you do remember, having raised children, you do remember going to the beach. Right, let's go to the beach. 2 hours later, you've compiled the picnic bag, the bucket and spade bag, the towels, the wetsuits and everything else, and you're off. So they arrive to get on the ferry to go to the beach with a double buggy, a trolley that carries stuff in, it's just a concertina up, and then they have the bags of the buckets and spades. And because they're taken aback by the fact they might have to collapse their pushchair, everything's in the bottom of the pushchair. So we have a great hiatus as they try and decant stuff from the bottom of the pushchair. And, of course, putting them onto the front of the boat, guess what happens? They haven't tied the bag up, buckets and spades and all kinds of nappies and soiled ones got all over the flipping deck. That's how it is. That's modern-day visits to the beach by ferry.
Well, I am so pleased to be of the age I am now because it means I don't have to go to the beach when the weather's like this, because I actually used to hate going to the beach with children. I absolutely had to gird my loins and say, "Kids, do you want to go to the beach? We'll go to the beach." And it was just the day from hell, because of all that stuff that you've got to take with you. Parking, always a nightmare, then trudging with 2 fed-up kids, then you worry about them drowning or going off
Don't
somewhere.
suck all the joy out of it,
But
please.
it's true. As a parent, there is no joy in going to the beach with children. I used to hate it, and I still hate going to beaches because sand gets everywhere. It's just a hopelessly joyless experience. And people say, "Oh, let's go to the beach." No, I'd rather stick, I don't know, cocktail sticks into my own eyeballs. Thank you very much indeed. I'd rather sit in your garden here, watching the butterflies, watching the bees, and enjoying this gorgeous weather.
Well, it does beg the question, doesn't it, listener, why you work for the Torbay Tourist Board?
Yes, that's probably why I was fired from the tour bait.
When you went to the beach, were you? I mean, I'm not expecting you to be dressed like one of the Gumbies from Monty Python, but did you have a knotted handkerchief? Did you have a
No.
Did you have a sensible shirt and a pair of slacks?
I had a wetsuit. I used to go in the sea with the kids and do bodyboarding with them and all that sort of stuff.
Sounds great fun.
I played along, but I hated it at the same time. I just really didn't enjoy it.
Do you think they always knew you hated it?
Probably, because I used to say to them, and bearing in mind, this is what happens, and you'll identify with this, when you bring your kids up, when you live somewhere like Devon, and you bring your kids up there, and you say to them in the summer, should we go to the beach this weekend? They go, oh, not again. You know, small kids saying that, I just think, oh,
but it's very different
on,
when you're holiday making, isn't it?
Yeah.
We used to come down here holiday making, and of course our friends that lived down there, we'd be saying, see you tomorrow morning at 9. Should we be up at 9? Get on the beach? They go, oh, yeah, well, we've just got to fix up my roof or my hedge, and that's what takes you up now. You know, you don't go to the beach as much. Because it is busier where we live, and it's more arduous getting down those lanes.
Well, it's grim.
And actually pulling because it's always available. You don't. It's not something you want to enjoy. I went to the beach with my brother last week. We went stand-up paddleboarding for the first time for both of us, I think, this year, and for me last year as well, because I do less and less at the beach or on the water. So, parking that thought for a moment, let's go, let's do it. There's a nice breeze down there, and we can just be like two hippos on a door, just be paddle out into Thurston Bay. But of course, the lanes, you forget and coming the other way wasn't a Land Rover Defender or a T4, but a Fiat 500, which is one of the smallest cars on the roads. And the poor person, let's not genderise it, the poor person coming the other way, with me with 2 or 3 cars behind me, had to back up her Fiat 500.
Did she?
She did. Oh my goodness me. Honestly, I felt so sorry for her. She had 3 or 4, maybe 5 attempts. Every time she went in reverse, she moved the steering wheel. So she was driving up the bank, and she was going to damage her car. And I was doing this kind of keep your wheels straight motion to her, and I thought, what point? What was going on in the car? But why on earth, during the why can't we have the complexity of testing people learning to drive? It's much more rigorous than it's ever been when we were growing up. If you live in Devon, or if you live in Suffolk, where there's country lanes, teach people as part of the thing to reverse up a lane, because you're going to be doing that more than parallel parking.
Absolutely, and teach them to swim at the same time.
Well, yeah,
because exactly, and don't get me started on that, because it should be absolutely compulsory for kids to learn to swim.
Well, it used to be.
I know, but it did used to be when I was at school.
So what happened then?
And I don't know, but kids don't learn to swim anymore, and I think it's unforgivable, because if you fall into water, if you can swim, you stand more of a chance than if you can't swim. That's fact, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people go on holiday and swimming pools and beaches and all that sort of stuff. It's just another way of protecting your kids from dying, effectively, which is what, as a parent, that's what your job is.
You don't want them to play with matches, and if they get into trouble in water, you want them to know at least keep calm, lie on your back, basics.
Float.
So, but I'm afraid, along with that, and along with the proliferation of stand-up paddleboards and Tesco's knocking them out for £100 or whatever, you've got people that don't apply. There's not a lot of people, but there's a significant proportion of people that don't apply common sense. So it's an offshore wind. It's blowing a hoolie, as it has been.
You don't go in.
The RNLI have been out 6 or 7 times around this area, but people have gone. You don't say. You've been on a paddleboard. You can't paddle against 30-mile-an-hour gusts and 20.
And a tide.
Forgetting the tide, if it's wind over tide, it's really bumpy as well.
It is difficult.
But we don't. We haven't done much about educating people about that.
But people still think the sea is just like a big water park, and nothing bad's going to happen as long as you stay close to the shore. Well, that's wrong. Yeah. Bad things can happen at sea. 5 metres out from the beach, and they do quite regularly. And people have to learn that. It's so dangerous. Another reason why I didn't like going to the beach, because I used to, as a journalist, do stories about kids who drowned, on holiday, which was heartbreaking, and that just used to be in my mind whenever I took my own kids to the beach. It's just thinking you've got to have eyes in the back of your head, or be in with them and be able to jump in if something bad goes wrong.
I think it is probably a deficit in some people's parenting, that they don't take their responsibilities, or they've not been given their responsibilities, and they don't realise that actually it's their problem if their dog runs off the lead and shits in somebody's picnic. It's their problem if their kid gets washed out to sea. It's their responsibility. You know, there's not the fourth emergency service, the RNLI, who are going to swoop in and rescue you and take you by helicopter to Derriford. It's not an abrogation of responsibility. I think it's that we haven't equipped people to be responsible.
Do you think, and I have often thought this, because there's been a lot of talk, over the years about the NHS, and people want to privatise it and all that sort of stuff. And
well, you've made your views very clear. You want to take it over.
No. I'm just thinking. Do you think that this is kind of the fault of the NHS? People have got so used to, in this country, being patched up for free, and it not costing them anything. Yeah. But if you gave them a bill afterwards, they think twice about doing it in the first place.
Yes, I do. When it's something as trivial that you could go to your local Boots or Superdrug and actually get a plaster to stick on your thing. Yeah. I mean, your thing, that sounded wrong, didn't it? To stick on your foot. There are people going, I've got something in my eye. Have you tried washing it out with some water? Oh,
no, I didn't think of that.
I'll sell you an eye bath. You can wash it. Yeah. Will that be all right? Oh, So, I mean, you're connected to the health service more than I am, because you do public relations for them. But I shudder at some of the stories I've heard about people going up with, absolutely, I've got a very sore throat and I didn't know where to go and the doctor's isn't open. And well, I'm sorry, we're going to have to fine you or charge you for a consultation, because this is something. Yeah, it does. Absolutely, it does. I think there needs to be a scrutiny of what people. Yes, we want it to be delivered free at the point of need. I applaud that. I applaud when it was set up. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
But hang on a minute.
It's the word need. It's the word need, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that is key. And also, it creates a feeling of safety that really isn't there, and almost a sort of abandonment of personal responsibility, because whatever happens to me, somebody will pick up the bill for it. Somebody will do that. So it's fine if I want to go, I don't know, skydiving, and that's fine. So I don't know. I think there's a debate to be had there, in the future, to make people more responsible and realise that it's not an endless seam of money. It has to be spent responsibly. But
it's about personal responsibility.
Yeah, and I think
we've taken that away from people.
Yes, and I think, how do you reintroduce it though? That's the key. How do you do that?
You make them take notice if they are picked up by the inland RNLI rib, because they've drifted out to sea. Go, yes, we're very happy to have done that. So I'm so glad you're okay, and it's nice to be reading. By the way, that's there is an excess on this. It's £50.
Yeah, or 100, I'd say.
Well,
100 quid.
I think it's immaterial, because some people £100 is nothing to them, and sometimes £50 is a great deal. And sometimes people genuinely get into trouble, but they genuinely need to be supported.
Yeah, and I think 100 quid minimum donation, basically, the RNLI would be good.
Or you tax the users of the water more tangibly. Because at the moment, if you have a craft, you have to pay harbour dues, which is one fee, and if you're going to keep it on a mooring, you have to pay that for that as well. Maybe you give them a boat licence, and then they have to, adhere to that. We have people driving through the harbour at 10 knots.
Yeah.
And there was one guy driving back, towing a stand-up paddleboard. It's like within the harbour limits. It's like you've got 10-ton fishing boats coming along.
Yeah.
It's just about education and awareness, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and we've got a new Prime Minister this week, haven't we?
Have we?
Andy Burnham. The other one's resigned. Starmer.
This will date stamp this podcast.
Well, no, I'm just saying, because this is going to go out at that time, and he'll be looking for new ways of raising income from people. So I'm going to write all these ideas down and send them off to him.
Yeah.
And hopefully he will listen to this podcast.
Well,
I know influential people do, but I was just thinking another good way of raising tax very easily would be a tent box tax. Don't you think?
To append to the aforementioned in a previous podcast, caravan tax, which we banged on about. Yeah, I mean, it's I just think people should pay what's fair to pay, and let's not get into the deep politics of it. I don't think I'm in the right mood to do that. We could do, but let's actually get people to pay for things that they can afford to pay for.
Yeah,
and
box
the people that can't,
yeah.
the people that are need a hand, let's help them. It's just obvious, isn't it?
It is, as long as that isn't abused.
Wow.
But there we are. That's another can of worms. But tent box tax, I think about £500 a year is fine. You
know how much the BBC listened to you when you were the great pretender to take on the Director General's job, don't you? You didn't even get a reply. But I'm not sure you'll get a reply from Andy Burnham. I think he might be a tad busy with other things other than a tent box tax. But how do you think he'll do?
I think he will do very, very badly, because I think we've got a lot of problems in this country that aren't to do with who governs us. They are to do with the electorate rather than the government.
Well, how on earth can you change that then?
Very, very good question. That's why I just don't think he stands a chance.
But anyone who is in government or running councils, and with the whole panoply of changes that are happening across local government and the restructuring, all you're dealing with is the electorate.
Yeah, and basically
some of whom think that the great white hope of politics is a man called Nigel Farage.
Yeah, and so basically all they're doing is rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Effectively, you can rearrange the borders in local politics all you like, but you're still stuck with the same problem, and that is basically the people are.
Sorry, I'm just rearranging my deck chair.
Gosh, was
on
that
the
your
Titanic?
Knee? People are abusing the system at the moment. They're not really living their lives with regards to other people at all. They're being very insular about their own needs and not caring about their community. And we need to get that back. We need to rein back. And we've got too many people living in this country. And so we need a cull.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before. I think something has happened in the intervening couple of months to make you a little bit more extreme, dare I say. We talk about culling. I don't know how you'd operate a list of. Would you start with people who had tent boxes and cull them? Do you think that they would?
No, I'm sure there's some really nice people with tent boxes who are just trying to keep up with the Joneses and all that sort of stuff, and think it's a good idea to sleep on the top of their car. Misguided, yes, but not bad people.
But if you have a sunroof.
Pardon?
If you have a sunroof and you open that, what happens? Do you
I don't know,
disappear into the car halfway through the night?
Yes. Or it's like a trap door, isn't it? Suddenly in your tent.
Or maybe that's the way you do go to the loo if you're a certain age. Maybe. You just open the trap door and the sunroof down into the passenger seat and Bob's your uncle.
When your wife gets in, she says, "This seat's a bit damp, isn't it?" "Oh yeah, it's the rain. I left the window open last night." That old excuse.
We'll have to leave tent boxes alone.
Sorry,
we've had it. We've given it a good going. This podcast. Future podcasts. We'll try not to leave such a big gap. So what should we do? Another outside broadcast? What should
I
we
think
do?
We should make the most of this good weather, Paul. Yeah. And it's.
We don't want to go to the beach. We've already made that very plain.
I don't want to go to the beach, but there are lots of other places. We go to the moors.
Yeah, we probably don't like that because it's too full of people setting fire to the moor. Wild camping.
Well, yeah, wild camping. And what don't people understand about taking a barbecue up to Dartmoor when it's tinder dry and think, it'll be all right? What? This is getting back to your thing that you were talking about not so long ago about people taking personal responsibility. They just don't think, and that frightens me. Actually, it does frighten me.
You get people come up to me on the sea tractor, and they want to get if I'm working on that sea tractor day, and they say, "Look, hi." You can tell they're a bit uptight when they first arrive. Hi. We want to go to Salcombe. Yeah, well, this is the place to start. Sea tractor drives out into the water. Ferry comes. Yeah, but we've got a lunchtime booking. Right. Okay. What time's your booking? It was 1:30. And I just wondered, can we book no, you can't book a seat. I'm afraid it's pay as you go. Right. What time would you advise us? So in other words, not taking their own responsibility,
Making it your fault.
making it my responsibility to organise their day so that they're not late for lunch at the crab shed.
And if they are, it's your fault.
Well, yeah, he said, and you didn't tell me. One bloke did make me laugh. He very nicely spoken. He may hear this, I don't know. We didn't exchange details, but he and his willowy wife of a certain age, I suppose they were 50s, he came along and said, can I book a seat? I said, no, it's pay as you go. He said, well, to show my fidelity, I'm going to leave my sandals here. And I looked at him as if to say, it won't make a scrap of difference to me, but I love the fact that you used the word fidelity. I said, I love that. It feels like I'm in a Thomas Hardy novel, to show my fidelity. I said, do you like words? And he said, I said, you're a lawyer? He said, no, I'm not actually. He said, I specialise in non-verbal communication.
Oh, right.
So I gave him a very rude nod, and he went off.